What's going on, everybody? Hanging out here in the Beefy Marketing Studio A in Tomball, the new and
brand new
improved
studio
podcast studio.
Yeah.
Which you guys can't really see the whole beauty of it because you're looking at a camera angle from a MacBook Pro that's on a tiny desk with us
Yeah.
versus using our nice cameras and position where you can't see the reflections of the key lights or any of that stuff. But we are just hanging out because John has made his way to the dark side and he is getting he got a brand new iPhone. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
There it is. And he got a brand new Apple Watch.
And
an iPad.
Valentine's Day gift for the lady.
Yep.
Got the iPad on the way to the house.
So long story short, for those of you guys that don't know, John, the marketer over here, has never wanted to be on an Apple device. And when he first started working for Apple, I basically told him, by the time you're done working here, we're going to have you.
I've never worked for Apple.
Oh, yeah. What did I say? Did I work for Apple?
When I worked for Apple.
That's what I said?
Yeah. When I started working for Beefy.
When he started working for Beefy.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When he started working for Beefy, I told him, I said work for Apple.
You
I'm
did.
an idiot. I told him that we would have him using all Apple products by the time he left here. And he said, no way. You should go get tested for drugs.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
And the bottom line is the reality here.
He gave me that MacBook.
We gave him a Mac.
And I started liking the Mac.
Once he got the Mac, that was kind of game over in terms of, you wanting to move over.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I liked it. But I will say I was still kind of staunch not ever going to an iPhone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you even said that you said specifically something. My brain is not working.
I mean, I liked the MacBook and I enjoyed the experience there. But for the iPhone, it was like, no, there's no way. I don't like it. I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like it in the past, which I guess I got a trash version of the iPhone when I got the 6.
Oh, yeah, it's not a good Apple.
So they
device.
just had a down moment, and that was whenever I tested it side by side to see if I wanted to make a switch a long time ago. And then, yeah, just long story short, Samsung did me dirty and did me wrong, man. And the customer service is the second time their customer service wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I hate it, but I'm a loyal person and I'm loyal to brands if I love the brand. And I've been loyal since the Note 3 with Samsung. From the beginning, man, I was there. And this time it's over. Like, it's not me, it's you. I'm sorry, but we're breaking up. I'm going to the dark side.
So all we're literally doing in this video, it might be boring to some of you. It might be amazing for some people. But me and John are just going to hang out and set up his phone. I used to work for Apple as a expert, is what they called me. And really, which was just a glorified, highly technical sales rep. But I got to know the devices pretty much inside and out. I know the ecosystem pretty well. Obviously, the devices have changed a lot since my tenure at Apple. But I think I've done a pretty good job of staying up to date. And I'm a nerd for all things Apple. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. John's friends are excited to see the blue bubbles popping up.
Oh, yeah. I've already heard about it.
Happy about that, right?
Yeah.
So let's do it, John. Where do we want to start?
Well, tell me a question that you got a lot at Apple. I just want to know, what was the main problem people would come in with? And how
honestly, the main problem people would come in is I can't hear anything on my iPhone. And you'd be like, yeah, this piece of plastic from when you pulled it out of the box needs to be removed.
Oh, God.
I swear to you. I remember specifically a customer got mad at me because I was about to take it off. She's like, no, I'm trying to protect my screen. And I'm like, ma'am, that was not designed to protect your screen. It was packaging.
Yeah.
And it does not have a speaker cutout. And she was so mad at me at first. And then when I pulled it off, she felt kind of dumb, which I didn't, mean to make her feel that way. But that happened a lot.
Yeah.
Where people couldn't hear themselves and they thought their phone was broken, but really it was just a piece of plastic on top of it. But I'd say in general, I didn't really work. I'd say most of the people I sold sold devices to were people who were pretty excited about coming over to, an iPhone. Not you who never wanted one.
Yeah.
So I think most of the people that I was working with certainly were happy to upgrade to the new phone. So I think the better question would be what are you most afraid of moving from the Android, kind of product to an iPhone?
Well, the big thing is with Samsung and Android, they had a lot of the same functionality as Apple and iPhones, where technology spoke to each other when it was the same tech. And everything was just so built in on my life. You know, my Gmail had all of my contacts in it. It had all of my apps on there that I downloaded from the App Store. It had everything set up, and I feel like I have to reset up my life to go to my iPhone.
Oh, look, this is the same thing wrong over here. iPhone to Android.
Oh, wrong way.
It's the wrong way. You know what, guys? Thanks, Carl. Thanks for pointing that out. I can't see anybody's comments here, which is really frustrating.
Yeah.
But I can see them on my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop this background altogether. I'm going to try. I'm doing it like from like whatever. We'll just leave it at that. That's my Mac screen. We are moving from Android to an iPhone, right?
Correct.
Chambliss said, hey, lovers. Where you at, Chambliss? Come on over here, buddy. We got some fitness talk to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Come join us for an episode of Big Man Fitness.
Hey, Chambliss, I don't know how far you got into it.
Ooh, nice.
I'm making the switch, man.
Yeah, Carl specifically said, he said, I can't tell you how many times I can't charge my phone, cleans out the port, phone charges no problem. Yeah, totally true. So many times. These ports, really on any device, though, they just get clogged up with a bunch of nasty, you know, yucky, gross stuff.
It always happens.
It just happens.
So for the viewers we have in here, are you team iPhone or team Android? What do you have? Which one are you rocking? Because I had the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. I've been a Samsung guy since the Note 3.
I want to know from this person right here. I switched the iPhone 11 from Android. Haven't regretted it.
Wow.
Okay. That's a great person to ask questions to.
Yeah.
Right?
No, because we're in the same boat.
Yeah. So
I'm just a little behind.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you, what took you the biggest, I don't know, what was the biggest hurdle, or what took you the longest to figure out on iPhone that was not the same on an Android? Has there been any big holdups? What does he need to know? Because I've never used an Android, so that's hard for me. Still can't believe John is finally switching. So this is someone you know.
SR 1805 is all we see. Who is this?
Who is SR 1805?
Yeah. Who is this?
I wish we could see all.
I can't believe I'm switching either. I can't believe I already switched. Honestly, is that Chambliss or something? Like who?
I don't know. I've got Scotty jumping in. Android sucks. Thank you for the +1 there. Scotty. Carl's got the MacBook, iPad Pro, iPhone, full ecosystem there. Some Apple all the way comments.
I'm going to take a lot of hate for this move. That is for sure.
Still downloading files and finding them.
Okay, so true story. You're not wrong.
Okay, so that's not hard for me. Let's talk about that for a second. So there's probably a number of ways you can do this. The way that's been most beneficial to me, because that is a little bit different. I've heard that, because I think that the Android device handles it more like a PC, where it's truly a computer, right? I personally am using Dropbox in every other area of my business anyways.
Right.
And so what I've done is personally log into my Dropbox account, and I've obviously got a personal folder. And when I go to save a file, I save it in my Dropbox, because that's one thing that's weird. Like, let's say that you have a video that comes in an email and you want to save that.
Mm-hmm.
Some items like that won't save. If it's a file type that your phone can't recognize, it's like, I don't know what to do with this. But if you save it into Dropbox, and Dropbox basically becomes my computer, right? It becomes your hard drive, essentially. Then you pretty much have the ability to, John DJ'd at my wedding. It's a hint.
All right.
Okay. All right. Shout out to OMG Event Co., aka future JD's Mobile DJ Services.
Yeah, it was JD's Mobile DJ Services. So this is one of like 682 people that I know.
Yeah, for sure. Paul Tingler, welcome to the game. Watching you on a Galaxy S20 Ultra. I switched away from iPhone actually at around iPhone 5 or so. So that's interesting.
Hey, do you want to upgrade to an unlocked Samsung Z Fold 3? Because I have one of those sitting at the house collecting dust. Oh, yeah, Richardson. What's up, buddy?
Nice.
Long time no see.
Scotty actually says that he switched from he switched to a Samsung Note 10 Plus 5G and went through 8 of them within 1 year.
God, what did you do?
See, I don't know, though. I feel like,
what did you do?
I hear that often, though.
But see, You've
even had device issues.
I've had a device issue or two, depending on some of the models that were out there. But I got to tell you, man, I never really had any problems with the hardware, software. Most of the time, that stuff ran just fine, no problems. Never had to do warranty exchanges for that. Mainly, it was just breaking my screen or something dumb, because I'm hard on phones. So I'm really interested.
Hey, Jessica Morris, welcome to the live. Scotty says screen went out, charger went out, camera went out, etc. God, that's brutal. And that doesn't mean like here's at the end of the day, right? That doesn't mean it can't happen with an iOS device, an iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean, hardwares have problems sometimes, right? Same thing with software. That stuff happens. Carl said from a file management standpoint, he does the same thing I do with Dropbox, except for he uses iCloud's files manager, which is literally Apple's version of Dropbox. It's their cloud storage solution.
Okay.
He said he brought a brand new Note 5G at home. Oh, he says, I have a brand new Note 5G at home if anyone wants to buy it cheap. Well, it sounds like this is the Android eBay. So right now you just list your phone.
Look,
and we're going to take live auction here on crappy phones.
And I've got the Z Fold 3, you know.
So we've got a Z Fold 3 and we've got a brand new Note 5G all on the auction block.
Yeah, anybody that is just now tuning in, John Kelly made the switch, man.
John Kelly,
no more Samsung, no more
made
Android.
The switch to an iOS device. How do you think about the Apple Watch so far? I mean, obviously you're not dove into what all it can do.
It's just like my Galaxy Watch, man.
But better.
Probably not because
because it's an iOS.
I'm still going to
device.
give you a hard time about this.
I love it.
iOS.
Of all the people that you could have this conversation though with, like I'm a pretty open-minded kind of guy.
Yeah. And
so I think that like I understand the limitations of Apple's technology. I see where Apple's behind. I see where Android's ahead. And then we could argue till we're blue in the face over stupid stuff that I think the normal talking points people talk about, open source versus not open source and, those kind of things. But at the end of the day, both of these devices are fully capable. It's really whatever fits into your lifestyle best. For me, the iPhone has always been my favorite device because I am such a heavy Mac user.
Yeah.
And so it plays well. That's one thing we talked about earlier. It would really be nice if kind of there was more cross.
I'll tell you what's going to be
support.
Weird for me getting used to is just the gestures and movements
that
you have to do. Like one thing I loved about my Galaxy Watch was it had a dial that turned.
Oh, interesting.
So if I wanted to scroll through something,
but you can do that, but it's the little wheel on the right that can actually turn the same way.
Yeah, got you.
So obviously you have to be in a screen.
So that
makes
maybe
sense,
I like that better. I don't know. Yeah, like that's pretty cool. But I liked having that little dial. I'm a hardware kind of guy sometimes,
Yeah, same way.
I was upset when all the buttons kind of went away. I get why for more screens, but
Martin says, Andrew, you worked for Apple. You have a biased decision. And that's actually not true. Yeah, you're right. I do lean heavy Apple, but some of the technology, like when John got his Z Fold, at first I was like, nah, I don't like it. Practicalness. But the camera was very impressive, especially the front-facing camera. There was just a lot of features about it that I really liked. So
are you going to, in 10 minutes, this is a weird question to ask on live, but we're live. Are you going to have enough content for me to run next door and get my kid?
I don't know. You have to pick up the kid.
You can talk. Bring him in here. He can be on the live. He'll love it.
I'm betting someone's texting you to say you better pick up your kid.
No, I texted her and asked, and she was like,
no, you better go pick
I'm
up
in
your
my
kid.
pajamas at home, bro. Why are you texting me this?
Yeah, Carl was an Apple employee for the better part of 7 years, which, I was an Apple employee as well. Paul said he makes a lot of jokes about iJunk in his day-to-day life, but in reality, again, fully capable products. Depends on what you're doing with it, and what service you use. That's a whole other thing too, service and carrier, right?
Yeah.
That sucks. Samsung's charging port sucked.
Yeah, but not on the Type-C. This USB Type-C is the absolute future. The micro
of Android
USB, like that stuff sucks. Nah, that's the future.
That's the future of Android.
Nah,
because Apple, Lightning.
Apple, yeah, but what is my cord that I just got? Lightning to USB Type-C. All they did was say, no, we're not going to put a USB Type-C port on our side. We still want to sell you this extra stuff. My attitude's not going to change much. I only switched because I got mad.
Yeah.
That's why.
And see, even Paul said he finds that his Android vibes better with Windows and Chromebooks than an iPhone, which that's probably true. I mean, it's just the different OSs. That's at the end of the day.
And I will say that that's going to make my switch easier is that I've got a MacBook and I use that for work here. So it's going to be nice to have the connectivity between the two devices for sure.
And it is. I mean, like you said, you opened your phone and it was like Apple Pay. All you had to do is put your CVV in.
But it's going to take me some getting used to on that kind of stuff where, like you said, downloading those files and not being able to download them because it's not a phone or it's not a file type the phone recognizes.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks, man.
So we do obviously have a little bit of both, iOS and Android both in the house. What are y'all's favorite iOS features? What are some things that John should know about? And what are some things, Android users, what do you know that the iPhone does not have that John's gonna have to look out for? What is
Yeah.
John gonna call me in the middle of the night screaming
Yeah,
at me?
because I mean, this is going to be a whole new animal for me.
Because this is brand new. I mean, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I've been using this kind of device for the last 10 years, and you've been using an Android essentially for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single device that exists.
Well,
So,
since Android ever came out, that's all I've had.
yeah.
I started with the very first one. I think it was HTC that made it, and it was called like the G or G1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The first Android-based, app-based phone that came out after iPhone. The one-time iPhone and Apple were innovative and created a whole new style of phone.
Oh gosh, iPhone's never innovative. That's what John thinks.
I didn't say that.
That's what John thinks. I think there's a lot of great things. I think that Apple is slower to roll out features because they want to make sure that those features are truly, dialed in and the best they could be.
It's a fair point.
I think that Android does usually lead the pack, when it comes to rolling features out, but you see what happens. You've got exploding batteries and shit because it was a rushed process. It's like the whole race to the moon thing, right? It's like, let me just go ahead and show out all these new features. So feature for feature, spec for spec, it looks better.
Yeah.
But if it's not right.
Well, it's the main difference between philosophy of open source and controlled. If it's controlled, if you control your entire market and you release it, it reflects on you. But if it's open source, it's easy to say, well, these apps, these features, this software, this stuff is not tested like that. We're open source. We allow people to make changes and we learn from that.
How was your first Apple Watch notification?
It was weird. She said she's letting them know that I'm going to come get them in 2 minutes.
You better
get Jameson.
Oh gosh, I'm going to have to talk about a lot of nothing for a little bit.
It's right across the street. I'll grab them, bring them right
back.
They said
to slide up and down for 2 different keyboards and had a touch screen. They slid up and down for 2 different keyboards. Oh, the Google G1 is the one you're thinking of, yeah. And then Jessica mentioned that she got tired of the system and hardware issues due to outdated software and prices with Apple.
And that scares me because joking about what was said earlier in the comments about everything breaking all the time with Samsung. I mean, there's no question. You can't hide the fact that Apple got busted purposely pushing updates that made your phone operate worse so that you would be pushed to upgrade. Like that's a factual
pretty messed
story.
Up. Yeah.
And it's not like other companies weren't doing it. I'm sure it's happened.
They just got caught.
They got caught. They were the ones with their hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that is something I enjoyed about Samsung was that even when they pushed all those updates on the Note 7 because they didn't want you to have it because some of them, small percentage, exploded. I kept mine the whole time and never had any problems until the final forced update where they just completely cut it off. So, I mean, I just haven't had that experience, I guess, but yeah, I will say there's a reason I'm here. So
yeah, I mean, there's a reason. I mean, clearly it was a customer service, and it mainly came down to customer service and not hardware. Right?
I'm going to tell you right now, if a company that I deal with, especially one that I'm loyal to, if I go, Jessica was viewing earlier, I'm sure she left, but if I go to Bonfire Grill and support them for 10 years, and on that 10th year, I have a problem with something that occurred and it was their fault and they refused to fix the issue, I'm not coming back to Bonfire after that. Yeah. And I know Jessica and Curtis are not like that.
Yeah.
And Bonfire will take care of you, but you have to have that customer service mind of, even if you're not at fault, we talked about this yesterday or today.
Mama's here.
Oh God.
Kristen said you never get to talk crap about ever again. He's going to do it from the moment he gets home to the moment he leaves in the morning. Speaking of, she came on to tell you to go next door. She didn't say that, but that was really the reason she jumped on.
I just texted her and asked
why don't you go?
I asked her to tell them I need to go get Wayne, so I'm gonna bring him out.
Go get your boy.
So stay tuned. Don't leave because we're gonna have a very interesting 3-year-old on this.
3-year-old, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I'll be hanging out with you guys.
So give me 5 tips from you.
I don't know where to start. 5 tips because it's like there's so much.
I thought you were an iPhone fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a fanboy. Jessica said she hears you, girl. Preach. John's walking next door to get his child. The cool thing about where our office is located is right next to the daycare, so John can go get his kids. Customer service is super important. Absolutely. I mean, the fact that he literally bought a device that should have worked completely fine from Samsung on his carrier, but it was an unlocked device. And then later on, they told him, after the return period or exchange period, that there was nothing they could do about it. That phone was not supported on the network he was on. And instead of the company saying, you know what, that's messed up. We didn't realize that you bought that device. That was kind of our bad for not making a note on it on our website. we can't return it, but we're happy to do an even exchange from that device to the device that is supported, is absurd. Like, hands down, that should have been the first thing they did was solve for the customer. And that just didn't happen. And I'm not mad about it because now he's an iPhone user, and I think that it's going to transform his life, in my humble opinion. I know it's biased. I know, Jessica, you're not an iPhone user. I forgive you. And all kidding around, though, again, using Macs, using iPhones, they just play so well together. They really do, in terms of being able to send a text message from my phone and then pick up on that same text message thread on my computer, or being able to transfer a call from my phone to my computer, or a FaceTime call from my computer to my phone as I walked out of the room. Yeah, Jessica, they did nothing. Seriously said, there was nothing we can do. He should have gotten the right phone, even though their website does not say that the carrier is not supported. It was supposed to be a fully unlocked device. They would not do anything. He went round and round. He had plenty of professional calls and plenty of frustrated, passionate calls, but they didn't do anything. And I agree that he should have left the carrier, but the problem was it wasn't the carrier's fault in this case. He actually bought the phone directly from Samsung, so the carrier couldn't do anything about it. He bought the phone unlocked from the manufacturer. He bought it straight from Samsung. So that was the problem. Samsung should have swapped the device out. So John literally had no option. He had to trade in his current phone to get a new phone. And at the end of the day, he could have just switched his phone for the same device, but it just goes to show how important customer service really is. Like, they lost a loyal customer for the last 10 plus years because they didn't just take care of him. They just didn't do what was right. So a lesson in customer service from your friends at Beefy Marketing. So for those of you guys just jumping in, we are talking about my friend John, who's no longer sitting beside me, but he is on his way back, all about switching from Android. I keep saying this wrong. Switching from Android to iPhone. And we're just having a live discussion, kind of talking about what features that you guys love the most about your iPhones. And for those of you guys that are using Androids, what your most favorite feature of the Android is. And really helping John out. What does he need to know that he's going to hate about the iPhone? What is he going to love about the iPhone? And he should have been patient and waited until he could upgrade from FirstNet. Kristen, I'm so glad John's not here. I will just scroll on past that. We don't have to talk about patience on this episode of this live. Paul says, and I hear that camera array on iPhone is baller. The new phone so I've got the 12 Pro Max. John got the latest and greatest 13 Pro Max. And John's phone camera is the best camera system I think Apple's ever released. I know that that's like Apple's normal thing. The best camera ever in any phone. Like, that's totally their thing. But truly, I seriously think that new camera is just insane. One of my favorite features is the kind of the focus pull. So you can actually do some cinematic filming on the new iPhone, which I'm sure that somebody's going to pop in and say, you could do that on an Android 10 years ago.
For sure.
But
they did it first.
I like that stick, man.
Yeah, we had to pick up a stick on the way over.
Did you ever get your car? You left a car here. Did your dad bring it back?
Did you get your car? You came up here earlier. You got your car. You were up here.
You need any snacks?
He's mad we're not going home right now.
Oh, that means John's not got much time left with us because this guy's in charge.
But in all seriousness, like, send me
your mom
messages.
Said hello. See?
Send me all kinds of things about Apple because I don't know anything. I'm brand new to it. I'm here to learn and hopefully master this thing eventually.
Yep.
But definitely worried about a few things. Operating system.
All right, so you have, okay, what all apps do you use the most on your Android, or did you use the most on your Android device?
Instagram, Facebook, all the social
TikTok.
media.
That's easy. So those are all here. That's easy, right?
TikTok. I can't really think of anything specific that Samsung would have that Apple didn't.
Okay.
And even if, Apple didn't have something Samsung did or vice versa,
might be a
comparable
app.
Something that was comparable that would do it.
So obviously one of the talking points with Android is always, well, Android's unlocked, so I can get anything I want from third-party developers. But what I normally see from most users of the device is
viruses.
Beyond security risks, which, like, I'm not even going to dive into that because I know a lot of those apps are still trustworthy. They're just developed by third-party developers, right? Like, I respect that. But I'd say even more than that, there is I think most people are still using apps that are capable on both devices. He is not having it. There's definitely apps that are capable on both devices, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh, you use Facebook, that's on your phone. You use Instagram, it's on both devices. TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
Google Documents, Google Docs.
That
Google
was one big
Sheets.
thing I was extremely happy about, is that at least I still have access to my Gmail stuff, because the Google Suite is probably, outside of social media and stuff like that, Google Suite is probably something I use the most because of emails. I've got my work email. I've got, regular emails from my personal stuff. I mean, just all kinds of things. So I'm really excited to see the Google Suite being on here and available to sync all that stuff over for me, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul's got another one for us. It says, may seem obvious, but it's not very often said. You'll find that your Google Drive and Gmail apps will actually download onto your iPhone from the App Store. 100%. That is something we hear a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a question I heard a lot when it came to people switching from PC to Mac was, well, what about Microsoft Word? What about Microsoft Excel? What about, for the longest, I mean, because back in the day, that's true. You couldn't get those apps.
I know, and
right?
I was scared of that. But just the other day, I actually downloaded the Microsoft Suite to my MacBook. And I use, that 365 or whatever it's called that they developed. I use that for all of my stuff, Microsoft Word, everything. So I'm really going to be doing a lot of stuff that I did on PC on my Mac, and doing a lot of stuff I did on my Samsung here on my iPhone.
Well, what's funny to me about that too is, like, I think a lot of times we're also like creatures of habit, and we want to use the tools we've always known.
Yes.
So it's like you downloaded the Microsoft Suite, but you don't have to, right? Like Apple's got those free alternative tools. You got Apple Pages, Apple Keynote, Apple Numbers, and honestly, they work, I would say 90% the same way. Yeah, there's going to be some little differences, things that aren't the exact same, but side by side, they're the same app.
But you and I were in school on a PC 6, 7, 8 years old, using Microsoft Word and learning all that stuff. And you're comfortable.
But you know what? One thing I've noticed, I mean, again, this is just me being on the Apple ecosystem for so long, but one thing I've noticed personally about the Apple's version of the Microsoft Suite is it's a little bit more creative in nature, in the sense that, in Microsoft Word, to do like more of a layout or a designed-esque page, it's kind of a hassle, to be honest.
Yeah. You gotta, kind of like open a new document.
Exactly.
Thing and,
Pages seems to make that a little bit easier. I think that same thing with Numbers and Keynote. Like, I think Keynote's a superior product to PowerPoint, in my opinion. Just like some of the tools that they give you as a presenter.
Yeah.
So, I think that those things, you'll just start to find a lot of that stuff. Apple has their version. And if you don't want to use their version and you're stuck on the old ones, Outlook and all those things, you can still do all that on an iPhone. Even if you want to use Outlook on an iPhone, you can totally do that.
So give me the rundown on these swipe commands.
Yeah. So you have a couple.
So for Android, for Samsung, I would swipe down from the top and have, okay, so I guess kind of similar
so this
to
is kind of the control center.
Like my settings and all that stuff.
Screen,
he's trying to mess up my brand new screen. Hey, Apple screens are fragile. You can't mess them up.
They're real soft.
They like to break. Nobody has one that's not.
He's not happy with me, bro.
And
apples,
then
grapes, Dr. Pepper, Sunkist. Do any of those sound good?
No.
He's not having it. He is not.
I said, we're gonna run to my office, and he said, I just want to go home.
I'm like, okay.
I would swipe up here, and it would give me kind of like command buttons at the bottom, where I had like home, back, and the one that would open up like all my windows.
So for Apple on the iOS device, it's kind of like on the Mac. So you started using the Mac, and there's a feature called Expose where you throw your 4 fingers up and it kind of shows you everything on your screen. So comparable on your iPhone, if you kind of swipe from the bottom to the top, you kind of get to this Expose-esque screen where you can literally just swipe between your apps, right? So I think it's kind of the same functionality, because you can quickly just jump between the apps that you have. You've got kind of 2 swipe down modes. You've got swipe from the top right down, and that's kind of control center, right? Which has got like all your settings. And then I think you've also got top left down, which is all your notifications. That's your notification center.
Okay.
The cool thing about the notification center is you can actually customize essentially like little widgets. I think they call them something different, but you can kind of set up some widgets within that space. So if you want to see like a quick check in on your stocks or something like that, you can do that. Let's see here. I'm going to think of some other ones. For example, these little widgets on the front home screen here, some apps, if you long hold them, you can get some extra features that they will do, right? So, share app, edit home screen. If I click edit home screen, I can actually put different widgets on here. So if I click the plus symbol here, you see that different apps have features like TikTok trending now and maps. I know you guys can't see it, what I'm trying to show him, but most of you guys probably know. But there's these different features that I can actually set up as widgets on my homepage, right? And then you've also got the organization. When you long hold an app and you wait until it jiggles. I think most iOS devices users know this, but you wait till it jiggles. You have the ability to put things in whatever folder you want them to be in. Mm-hmm. So I know that was one of the things you talked about. I was like, oh, the organization is just so crappy.
But I'm gonna miss, with my home screen, I could long press and put all of my apps wherever I wanted on my home screen.
Absolutely.
My home screen was reserved for just my top.
You can still do that.
Top 10, right?
Yep.
But 9 out of 10 times I would swipe up and then boom, there's all of my apps in alphabetical order, and I can go page by page and see all of them.
Absolutely. So that's a little different in the sense that Apple. So a couple things. When you pull down, because we talked about pulling down from the top right, and you get your control center. Pull left, you got your notification center.
Right.
If you pull from the middle of your screen down, there you go. You're going to start getting a couple of different things. One, Siri suggestions, things that you've done like you do often. So my Siri suggestions right now are TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and calendar.
Oh, wow.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Those are the 3 apps I spend the most of my time on. It's cool, too, because Siri suggestions are based on times of the day. So if I wake up in the morning and I always open up Maps, for example, and if I scroll down, Siri suggestion at 8 in the morning might actually be my Maps.
Gotcha.
Right? Something I've done recently, or an app that I've even had open recently.
Right.
Okay. So you might find that you were in, let's just say we're in messages now. I close out of messages and then I open up Spark. When I pull from the middle, you'll notice that sometimes these will start to change for you, right? Like it'll start making different recommendations based on behaviors done. But other than that, this also kind of like works like the spotlight feature on the Mac. So on the top right of the Mac, you have the search bar. So if you're looking for an app, you just literally pull from the middle and type what you're looking for. So I want the Mac, whatever, or I want, Instagram. I'll type Instagram and it literally just pulls it up, right? But it also pulls up a bunch of other smart recommendations because this search works just like Spotlight in the sense that it searches across your device and across other platforms. So let's just say I type in Maps, right? There's the couple of apps that I've got that are Maps related. It pulls up, hey Siri, can I get directions? It's got settings for anything on my phone that's Maps related. It's got suggested websites. It's got maps on the actual Apple Maps. It's got photos from Maps. So it's literally looking at your entire device for anything with that keyword. So think about this. Let's say that you were looking for a photo of kids on your phones. You were looking for something when you're talking to someone. Pull from the middle, type in kids. I can scroll down here to this, search whatever. I can search that in my photos on the phone itself. So same thing with photos. I open up photos. It's got those smart features to search things like kids. And it's only going to show me photos on my phone of kids. My nephews, my nieces, that kind of thing. So I think the search functionality of Apple is pretty dang robust in that regard, which I don't know. I think that's kind of a fair trade for the list view of your apps. There is one other thing to note. So you've got your screens of all your apps, right? Apps. You can go to that very far. Like once you've reached the last page, you can go one more and there's all your apps like you talked about based on the folders that they're in, based on the category. So you can get that more list-esque view.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, a lot of that stuff's there. It's just, I think it's just in a different place.
I've always likened it to being a Ford fan, Chevy fan, Dodge fan.
Yeah.
There's differences in the engine. Sure, we can argue that all day, but generally they perform very similarly.
Yeah.
There's not any real major difference usually within those. It oftentimes comes down to what features are there and the aesthetics of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the interior of
how it's organized,
the
how
Dodge
it trims,
better, but the exterior of the Ford better. And like I said, sure, there's some performance differences, but they're usually minute. You're still going to be able to tow certain size trailers and payloads, and that stuff changes a little bit, but it doesn't change like crazy. And I think we see that a lot with Samsung or Android in general and Apple, where both of the products are similar, they're comparable. If they don't do it automatically, you can make it, do something similar. I do my totally unlocked and worthless Samsung Z Fold. I'm going to miss my Windows, being able to have multiple apps open at the same time on my screen in Windows. So even with the Samsung Galaxy Note, I was able to split my screen in half and have like Facebook up here, for instance, and a YouTube video down here, where I'm watching both of those apps at the same time on one screen.
Yeah, which you can do similar things, but it's app specific, right? Like for example, we're on Facebook Live, and I can actually pull this video down,
right,
and go do other stuff. But if I close the app completely, like if I pull that app closed and show something else, that Facebook video went away. So that kind of sucks, right?
You could do that with
anything,
Android
right?
as well.
Yeah.
But the big difference was it would actually split your phone in half and give you two windows where, let's say you're not watching a video. Let's say you're writing an email and you've got calendar open because you're scheduling a meeting and you need to remember, oh yeah, I've got this meeting on this day, so I can't email them right now. We're gonna have to do it at 3 instead of 11 or whatever the case may be. It was nice to have both of those open at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And I wish that was like, I'm with you. Like I wish that was a feature. I know that that's a feature of the iPad, right? Like you can do split screen apps and things like that.
Oh yeah, it's killer.
Which is really great. I mean, I wish that was a feature, but I also realized that for the average user, and that's the thing too to consider with Apple. Apple a lot of times is like, we don't, offer that thing, and you're like, well, why wouldn't they offer that thing? It's like it's such a great thing on this other app. It's typically because the average user is not doing it, and so they try to make the features that they roll out on their devices the features that most people use, and they do it really well, right? Versus spending so much development time doing a million features and they all be, kind of half butt or whatever, So
yeah,
kids around. Sure he hears other language, but
no,
he's such a perfect guy. Hey, so yeah. Paul Tingler actually said, did you ever use your Samsung DeX features? Yes. I don't think that Apple has anything comparable to that, but it's not a very frequently used feature. So was that the thing where you could turn your phone into a computer?
And it actually, because that's one big thing a lot of people say is they're like, oh, well, but you can use like Apple TV.
Well, yeah, AirPlay and stuff like that, but it's different.
All that.
Totally different.
But you would actually have a Windows style computer out of your phone, or your tablet on whatever TV or screen that you have that you're using. So it was that was definitely something I used. I will admit it's not something I used often, but with my Z Fold, I would actually have the keyboard and mouse Bluetooth and sit there and use that on my TV screen, so I had that bigger picture.
Yeah, I think that honestly is the future of computing in general. John Fritching, which is our video guy here at Beefy, actually brought that up with me yesterday. He was showing me this app he uses with his Android on his computer where he can essentially run everything. I think it's that app. But I was just thinking, like, man, like there's a time when these phones now have as much hard drive space as our computers do.
We went to the moon on less computing power than is in our phones.
Yeah. And
way less.
So for me, I think that at some point, you're very right. You'll be able to plug this bad boy up to a full-size display, and this is your computer, right? Like we're already getting there. That phone that you have was proof of that, and I think that will only get better. And I'm sure at some point Apple will evolve to that. They're going to have to, right? Like we're just moving that way.
Well, I don't understand why it would be a hard switch for them. If you've got the M1 chip capabilities, they're going to have that in the phone.
Remember, though, they're always behind.
Yes.
But they do it right. So that's fair.
To be seen. I don't know.
I think so. I'd say,
all joking aside,
if Apple rolls that out, you're going to be like, oh, dang.
When you have a 1 terabyte hard drive on your phone and you have RAM on your phone and you have, what was the other thing that the new chip?
Yeah, the new chip, the A1
on
chip.
Your phone, you've got a MacBook.
It's a MacBook Pro.
That's 6.7 inches.
That's right.
Or whatever.
That's right. You should be able to plug a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse.
They should just have a part of your hard drive sectioned off with that OS that activates by that app, so that when you're connected to your display, that app pulls up.
So you're already seeing that. So with the new OS on Mac, with Monterey, and the way that you're starting to see it happen already. In the sense that back in the day, when you developed an app for iOS, it was for iOS. When you developed an app for Mac, it was for Mac. And now they're really starting to become pretty hybrid. And I think that that's Apple's small steps, right? I think that's Apple's small steps to saying, okay, all right, developers, start getting ready for this, right? Yeah. The apps you start building will be able to be used on both devices. When you develop an app on Mac, it'll be used on phone. When you develop a phone. So I think that what they're going to go to is where DeX is essentially having to create a whole nother, is it called DeX?
Yes, DEX, DeX.
Where they're having to create a whole nother quote unquote system or part of that tech to handle that. I think iOS will go to the point where the phone itself is a Mac, small or big.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Maybe the interface looks different. Maybe the way that
Right.
data shows.
But
It's a
that-
smaller display. But
that whole development is already there as well.
oh
Because
yeah.
with the touchscreen PCs, you can go to tablet mode.
Yeah.
And your computer that has the full-on OS will act as a tablet.
Yeah.
So, you know, making your phone be able to do that, where it has that Mac OS, but it's in phone mode, or you can switch it to computer mode, should be an easy switch. Maybe Apple just needs to get a PC and copy how they did it.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great. They've probably already hired all the guys that were on that original team, and
yeah,
you know,
and then cut out the guy who created that whole team.
Exactly.
And then screwed them out of
all that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it sounded like a documentary I've seen.
And then changed one piece of technology and called it their own. Yeah, maybe. Paul actually said, "I will run my company from my Samsung alone once Dex has multi-display capabilities," which that's true. I mean, for us, multiple screens is really important.
Almost everybody in here has multi-screen or the ability from their laptop to an external display. But I will say that is something that makes me nervous, Paul, is how well I'm going to be able to go from running my business and sales for Beefy, and, you know, secretary for our fire association and my city emails and all of that stuff. Running it from my Samsung was easy.
I think you're going to find with the Mac, you're going to find it to be the same way. Because at least now, everything you're doing on your Mac, you pick up where you left off on your phone and vice versa. Like, I love that about just like even just the simple things like the text messaging capabilities, knowing that like my phone died, I can still text you. Yeah. Or I don't have my phone nearby, I can still text you. Like, I can send those messages from my phone, you know, both as SMS and as iMessage capable.
Right.
So I do love that feature. I think you'll find it to be easy. I think too, as you integrate tools more like Google Docs versus Microsoft Word, you'll find that stuff is available and accessible everywhere you are. Right? All
Absolutely.
Right. That boy right there is not happy with you, dude. Hey, I think that's a good place to wrap it up because this guy's ready to go home. And before we know it, John's brand new iPhone is going to be
wave bye to the viewers.
Garbage.
People were watching you. You were live.
You're live. Tell the people hello.
Wave bye.
Tell them bye. See you later.
So see you later.
Show them your stick. They want to see it.
Look,
they're telling
watching you. Yeah, see?
Yeah, Paul said, I think you'll find that transition smoother than you're psyching yourself up for. I agree.
I hope so.
Totally agree.
Yeah, no, I 100% hope he's right. And I made this switch for a reason. This wasn't a rash decision. It wasn't just, you know, just to see if I like it or anything else. I made it for a reason. So I'm pretty much stuck here unless I go with a totally different Android operating system phone, like, you know, Google's Pixel or which I'm not going to lie. And I wanted to show you that when we were in AT&T today. Cool? Have you seen their magic eraser tool on their photos?
No.
You just circle the object you want to go away, and then it erases it.
I'm seeing that tool starting to happen in Photoshop. Before, I used to completely outline or trace an item, and now I can just circle the item.
Yeah.
And it takes the background out. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That would have saved me so many hours back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it doesn't always work well, but it was just a cool feature that I liked for the content creation side of things.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I think that the great thing that John's got going for him is he is in an office with a bunch of iPhone users.
Yeah.
And Mac users, and we're all here to help them out.
For sure.
If you guys want, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to give us a follow. We're always looking to expand our reach. So if you think this video has been fun, share it with a friend. It would be nice to help someone out. Maybe they'll find something useful for their transition. You know, either way, going from iPhone to Android or Android to iPhone.
And shameless plug. I mean, follow me, John the Marketer, on Instagram. Send me those tips, tricks. Let's talk about it back and forth. I'm a very responsive person on my social. I like to engage with people. So I have no problem talking about the differences and asking you questions as well.
Yep.
And then shameless plug, man. Check out the Beef Podcast. Check out Business Growth Hacks.
Yeah.
2 great podcasts we do in-house right here in our new studio. I think you should turn the we're not ready to do
no,
it.
we got to give them a good
yeah. I have been wanting to share our new studio with y'all for so long, but I can't because we're not totally ready yet, and we want to make sure it looks perfect for you. Yeah. But this new studio is amazing. We do both of those in-house along with a few of our clients' podcasts as well. So I would love to have you on the Beef Podcast if you want to be a part of it and you're a business owner. Come on, let's schedule your time. It's super easy to get started, and then all we do is sit in here, BS, We can have a beer if you want to have a beer. Yes, Andrew, even at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know
No,
why
I
I
don't
got
know what you're
judged.
talking about.
You know, so come on, be on the show. But if you're not going to be on it, listen, man.
Yeah, please
Share
listen to our
stuff.
podcast, Business Growth Hacks and The Beef, both anywhere you get your podcast. Share them with a friend. John's featuring local business stories. I'm giving business tips and tricks to help you grow your business. And we are doing it every single week, and it's a hustle, and it's a labor of love. So we'd appreciate all the support we can get. Thank you guys again for hanging. Later.
Later. Of course, I'm getting a call right in the middle.
Of course,
it.
I'm